In the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, nestled between the coasts of China and Japan, lies the island of Taiwan, a land that despite its modest size, has become one of the most pivotal places on Earth. Roughly the size of the Netherlands, Taiwan is home to 24 million people. Its cities pulse with energy, blending ancient traditions with cutting-edge modernity, and its population is among the most densely packed in the world. Yet, Taiwan's significance far exceeds its geography. The island is constantly in the global spotlight, at the very heart of the intensifying rivalry between the United States and China. Headlines about Taiwan echo in capitals around the world, as its fate could tip the balance of global power. Taiwan is a vibrant democracy, celebrated for its free elections, lively civil society, and breathtaking landscapes. But beneath the surface there are simmering tensions, political, military, and cultural, that threaten to reshape not just the island but the entire world order. For Beijing, Taiwan is not just a neighbor, it is a breakaway province, a part of China's national identity and territorial integrity, and its return is a core political goal. For Washington, Taiwan is a vital democratic partner, a beacon of freedom in Asia, and a crucial hub for the world's most advanced technology, especially the semiconductors that power everything from smartphones to fighter jets. But for the people of Taiwan, the island is simply home, a place of rich culture, resilience, and hope, where daily life continues amid uncertainty. Taiwan's strategic position at the crossroads of East Asia, its economic might, especially in the semiconductor industry, and its commitment to democracy make it a linchpin in global affairs. The island's destiny is intertwined with the world's peace, prosperity, and the ongoing contest between democracy and authoritarianism. What happens here could reverberate across continents. To truly understand the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century, one must understand Taiwan, its history, its people, and its place in the world. Taiwan's story is not just about one island. It is the focal point of the great power competition shaping our century, and its future will help define the world's path ahead. The roots of today's standoff between China and Taiwan stretch deep into the turbulent years of the early 20th century, most notably the Chinese Civil War. This conflict, which began in the 1920s and raged for decades, was not just a battle for territory, but a struggle over the very future and identity of China itself. On one side stood the nationalists, led by Chiang Kai-shek, who envisioned a unified modern China under their rule. On the other, the communists, led by Mao Zedong, sought to reshape the nation through revolution and radical change. Both sides commanded vast armies and inspired fierce loyalty among their followers, leading to years of brutal fighting, shifting alliances, and immense suffering for the Chinese people. After the devastation of World War II, the balance tipped in favor of the communists. In 1949, Mao Zedong stood in Tiananmen Square and declared the founding of the People's Republic of China, marking a new era for the mainland. The event was celebrated by millions, but it also marked the beginning of a deep and lasting division. Defeated but unbroken, Chiang Kai-shek and the nationalists retreated across the sea to the island of Taiwan. There, they established a government in exile, still calling themselves the Republic of China, and vowing to one day reclaim the mainland. Waves of refugees, soldiers, and officials followed, transforming Taiwan's society and politics. This dramatic split created two rival governments, each claiming to be the legitimate ruler of all China. For decades, both sides refused to recognize the other, and the world was forced to choose between them. In the early years, most countries and the United Nations recognized the government in Taipei as the true China. But as the People's Republic of China grew stronger, both economically and militarily, the tide began to turn. In 1971, the UN transferred China's seat from Taipei to Beijing, and one by one, nations shifted their diplomatic recognition to the PRC. A major turning point came in 1979, when the United States formally recognized the People's Republic of China as the sole legal government of China. However, the US also passed the Taiwan Relations Act, pledging to provide Taiwan with defensive arms and to help ensure its security even without official diplomatic ties. This approach, known as strategic ambiguity, has helped prevent open conflict for more than 40 years. The US does not explicitly promise to defend Taiwan, but it also does not rule out intervention, keeping both Beijing and Taipei guessing. While the United States acknowledges Beijing's One China principle, it maintains robust, though unofficial, relations with Taiwan. American officials regularly visit the island, and economic, cultural, and security ties remain strong. This delicate diplomatic balancing act underpins the current status quo, allowing Taiwan to thrive as a vibrant democracy and economic powerhouse, even as its international space remains limited. Yet, the legacy of the Civil War continues to cast a long shadow over the region. Political tensions, military posturing, and the ever-present risk of conflict still shape the security and future of both sides of the Taiwan Strait. Taiwan's geography makes it a strategic prize. It sits in the first island chain, a barrier stretching from Japan to Borneo, crucial for containing China's navy. If China controlled Taiwan, it would gain direct access to the Pacific, shifting the balance of power in Asia. For China, Taiwan is an unsinkable aircraft carrier and a shield for its economic lifelines. For the US, defending Taiwan is vital for credibility with allies like Japan and South Korea. Losing Taiwan could unravel America's alliance network and embolden China. The island's fate is a classic contest for influence with global consequences. For China, it's about reunification and power projection. For the US, it's about defending the international order. Taiwan's security is a matter of global concern. Taiwan's economic power is rooted in its dominance of the semiconductor industry, the tiny, intricate chips that are the brains behind nearly every modern device. From the smartphone in your pocket to the most advanced fighter jets soaring through the skies, semiconductors are essential, and Taiwan is at the very heart of their production. The island produces more than 60% of the world's semiconductors, and an astonishing 90% of the most advanced, cutting-edge chips. This is not just a matter of quantity, but of technological leadership and precision engineering. At the center of this industry is TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. TSMC is the world's largest and most advanced chip maker, supplying critical components to global tech giants like Apple, Nvidia, and Qualcomm. These companies depend on TSMC's expertise to power everything from data centers to electric vehicles. This makes the world deeply dependent on Taiwan's chip industry. The island's factories are a vital link in the global supply chain, and any disruption, whether from a natural disaster, a political blockade, or military conflict, could send shockwaves through the world economy. Imagine a sudden halt in chip production. Car manufacturers would stop assembly lines, smartphone launches would be delayed, and even national security systems could be compromised. The stakes are enormous. The United States relies heavily on Taiwanese chips to maintain its technological and military edge. Meanwhile, China, despite pouring billions into its own semiconductor industry, still lags far behind in producing the most advanced chips. This technological gap fuels intense competition and strategic anxiety. Control over Taiwan's chip industry has become a central issue in the US-China rivalry. For Beijing, gaining access to TSMC's technology could solve its chip shortage and give it unprecedented leverage over the global tech landscape. For Washington, protecting Taiwan is about safeguarding not just an ally, but the backbone of the global digital economy. The fate of Taiwan's semiconductor industry is now intertwined with global security, economic stability, and technological progress. The world is watching closely, knowing that what happens in Taiwan will ripple across continents. Taiwan's economic role has elevated it from a regional player to a linchpin of the global economy, making its future a matter of worldwide concern. At its core, the Taiwan issue is a clash of values, democracy versus authoritarianism. Taiwan is a thriving democracy, standing in stark contrast to China's one-party rule. Its success challenges Beijing's claim that Chinese culture is incompatible with democracy. For the US and its allies, Taiwan is a symbol of freedom and a beacon for democratic values in Asia. For Beijing, Taiwan's democracy threatens the legitimacy of the Communist Party. Most Taiwanese identify as Taiwanese, not Chinese, and reject unification with the PRC. This ideological divide makes compromise nearly impossible and fuels the conflict's intensity. For Beijing, Taiwan is a matter of sovereignty and national pride. The Communist Party sees reunification as correcting a historical injustice and a core part of China's Great Rejuvenation. China has built a powerful military to deter US intervention and pressure Taiwan through shows of force, economic coercion, and diplomatic isolation. Beijing's goal is to make resistance seem futile, pushing Taiwan toward peaceful unification. Losing Taiwan would be a crisis of legitimacy for China's leaders, so they remain unyielding. While China claims to prefer peace, it has never ruled out force, keeping the region on edge. The US has long relied on strategic ambiguity, refusing to say if it would defend Taiwan militarily. This deters both a Chinese attack and a Taiwanese declaration of independence. The Taiwan Relations Act commits the US to help Taiwan defend itself, but not to direct intervention. As China's military grows, some in Washington argue for strategic clarity, an explicit defense commitment. Critics warn this could provoke China or embolden Taiwan, risking war. President Biden's mixed signals reflect the high stakes and uncertainty. The debate over US policy underscores the fragility of peace in the Taiwan Strait. The future of strategic ambiguity is now in question. A conflict over Taiwan would be catastrophic. War could start with a massive Chinese assault, followed by blockade and invasion, one of history's most complex operations. The human cost for Taiwan's 24 million people would be immense. US and allied intervention could escalate into a direct war between nuclear powers. The global economy would be devastated, semiconductor supplies cut, trade halted, industries crippled. The geopolitical order would shatter, forcing nations to choose sides and risking wider conflict. Even a Chinese victory would bring insurgency, sanctions, and a fractured world economy. Preventing war over Taiwan is one of the world's most urgent diplomatic challenges. Taiwan's fate affects us all, economically, politically, and morally. The world relies on its semiconductors for everything from phones to cars. A conflict would disrupt supply chains, raise prices, and threaten jobs worldwide. Taiwan's democracy is a powerful example of freedom and self-determination in a region where authoritarianism is rising. Its survival matters for the global struggle between democracy and autocracy. The island sits at the crossroads of history, economics, and ideology. Peace in Taiwan is not guaranteed. It requires wise diplomacy and global attention. The world is watching. Taiwan's future will help shape our own.